it's going to take you to this quadrilateral construction, and it is extremely open-ended. Okay, there are I'm just giving you blank slates here with titles at the top of each one, and the title at the top of each one is basically telling you what I want you to construct. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to use the properties that we know each of these things have and the tools that you're given to try and construct these things. If you mess up, like if I mean, I could put a bunch of points on here and it's like, I messed up. I did something wrong. I mean, you got the back button up there, which you can get rid of your last thing, or you can reload the entire applet so that you can start from clean again. Okay. So I don't mind if you guys, it's somewhat designed for you guys to make some mistakes along the way because I want you to try and figure out what works. But the first thing is a parallelogram. So I need to figure out a way of making a parallelogram. Okay. And it doesn't have to be any one that's specific. Okay. It just needs to be a parallelogram. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start off by I'm going to make a line. Okay. So that's all I'm doing to start off. I'm just making a line. Now, I may make those 2 points, A and B. Those might be like one of the segments of my parallelogram. I'm going to go ahead and make a second side here. So I'm still on my line. I'm going to click on A and then a point up here. Right? Now, unfortunately, we can't just make 4 sides and then hope they work out. We need to make sure that these things we need to make sure that they work. So let's think about some of the things that parallelograms have. We know parallelograms have opposite angles are congruent. Let's see, what else do we know? We know that diagonals bisect one another. Okay, so diagonals bisect one another. So that may be one way we could do this one. Let's say C and B were 2 of the vertices. Let's go ahead and let's make a diagonal here. I'm going to make it a segment between C and B. Okay. All right. So I know that that diagonal would potentially bisect here. All right. Let's see. Something else we could potentially do here to make this work. All right. Well, I know that. Well, here's something I can do. I know that the length from A to B is going to be the same length as C to whatever this point is. So maybe if I used a compass, and found the distance between B and A, move that up to C. Okay, so I know that my 4th point is going to go along here somewhere. All right. Well, here I could do the same thing. I could figure out the distance between A and C and translate that to the B, and then where these 2 circles cross, I should have the distance from C to D and from B to D, and that should be where they cross. Let's double check. Let's see, that's going to be compass again, and I need the distance from A to C. So I got that distance, and then you can move it over here to B. All right, so see that point where they cross? That's an intersection. So I'm going to, this right here, I like using the intersect tool because if you're anywhere close to where they intersect, it gives you a point there. Except when I did that, there we go. So we got point D now. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I think I've got the 4 vertices. If I think I have the 4 vertices, go over here to this polygon tool and click the 4 vertices. So A, C, D, B, and then you click the first one again, A. Right? If you made a parallelogram, it'll tell you did. Okay? Now, it doesn't say all the different parallelograms, so if you make a square, it doesn't say square. If you make a rhombus, it doesn't say rhombus. But it does tell me if it's a parallelogram, which is important because all 4 of these that we're doing are parallelograms. Okay? Now, what I could do is I can go in here and I can kind of double check to make sure these things are right. This very second to last tool where it says centimeter, there's 2 different measurement tools there. You can measure lengths of things and you can measure angles. Okay? And why I like these is because it lets us kind of explore these to make sure that they work. And when we're doing things other than just a parallelogram, it'll help us to verify that we're doing them correctly. So let's see if let me make another diagonal first. So A to D. And I'm going to put another intersection point right there where those 2 meet. There we go. And what we can do is we can see if our diagonal if they were bisected. So I can click centimeter, distance. Tells me that that's 4.01. And let's do the same thing. Let's measure from here to here. 4.01. So the diagonals did bisect one another. Again, you can also do angle measurements. Like let's say I want to check these 2 angles to see if they're congruent. Click up here, click angle. Now measuring angles is a little more difficult because you got to do it in the right order. I'm going to go, let's see, G, A, F. Hey, that one did it. Okay, so it's 69.21. Let's measure angle D. 69.21. Okay. Now, you don't have to do this with all of them, but I'd like you to, if you think you made a rhombus, okay, I'd like you to at least show on your diagram how you know it's a rhombus. So, like, either show me the diagonals are perpendicular, or measure all 4 sides so that I know that you've got 4 congruent sides. Okay? But I want you to kind of play with it and see if you guys can get there. If you can't get there, at least leave your work on there so I can see that you're working through it. And then we can go through it a little bit more as a group on Thursday. But I want you guys to play with this and kind of work with the tools you're given. A compass is a good way to measure lengths. Okay? The polygon tool is what you can do at the end to kind of highlight your polygon. You do have the measurement tool here. I wouldn't recommend using the measurement tool at the very beginning because I think it's kind of hard to eyeball angle measures and things